I have two places to read today. I'm going to have Giri Maharaj do most of the reading. First is from Loving Search for the Lost Servant, Swami B.G, Śrīdhara Mahārāja. I'll let you take over. I'll read this first part and then you just start from here. Okay? And if I need to. There is a hope which is sustaining me and nourishing my existence. And with that hope, I am somehow passing my days. But my patience has reached its end. I cannot endure it any longer. At this moment, if you do not show your grace to me, Shri Radha, I shall lose my prospect forever. I shall have no desire to continue my life. And Vrindavan, which is even dearer, more dear to me than my life itself, I am disgusted with it. And what to speak of anything else? I am even disgusted with Krishna. It is shameful to utter such words. But I can have no love, even for Krishna, unless and until you take me within your confidential camp of service. So this is whose prayer? Raghunāth Dāsa Goswāmī. Maybe from his Bilak Kusha Manjari or...
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So this is a title. This is a chapter in Śrīdhara Mahārāja's book, which is compiled from various essays at different times, over different years. And this chapter has been entitled The Service of Shri Radha. Now, let us hear what Śrīdhara Mahārāja has to say, and then I'll speak something. Giri? Oh, that's enough. We only have two of them now.
Once, the Diwan of Bharatpur had come on a pilgrimage with his family to the holiest of places, Shri Radha Kund, the holy lake of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. He and his family were circumambulating Radha Kund. They would fall flat on the ground, offering obeisances lying down with their arms outstretched. Every time they bowed down in this way, they would mark the spot where their fingertips touched the earth. Then they would slowly rise, step forward to where that spot had been marked, and again fall flat, offering their obeisances with great respect and adoration. In this way, they were circumambulating the entire Radha Kund. Upon seeing such intense worship, Paramahananda Prabhu, an intimate disciple of our Guru Maharaj, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, intimated to Prabhupada that the Diwan and his family must have great respect for Radharāṇī to circumambulate the Radha Kund in such a fashion. At that time, Prabhupada said, their angle of vision towards Radha Kund and Radharāṇī is different from ours. They recognize and revere Krishna, and because Radharāṇī is Krishna's favorite, they also have some reverence for Radha Kund. But our vision is just the opposite. Our concern is with Radharāṇī, and only because she wants Krishna do we have any connection with him.
All right, we'll stop. So this is a few decades ago. A Pandit came here from, he wasn't a Pandit, he was a Shastri or something. He was from the Ramanuja Sampradaya. And he came with a couple other of the Ramanujas who were visiting us at that time, not from the temple, but from Mysore. And there were a couple of things that, as we talked, he noted a couple of things. Well, the first one was that Buddha is in the Das Avatar. Of course, we know that. But all the Sri Vaishnavas that were with him said, no, Buddha not Das Avatar, Buddha not Das Avatar. And then the Shastri, and we have a picture of him, when we were sitting there in the mandapa with his dhamma. He corrected all those other Ramanujas and said, no, actually, Buddha is originally in the Das Avatar Stotram. And the reason I had mentioned this is it may be Tanukeri at the Danda,
Shakti
Danda temple. Somewhere in this area, I went to an old Hoysala temple. There's the Das Avatar carved on the wall as clear as day. There is Buddha. Now usually they replace Buddha because Buddha is an agnostic with Hayagriva or something like that. A different thing they replace. So that's the first thing he said. No, actually, and there are all those other Ramanujas was Ravi Tirumalai and others. They were shocked. So the regular householders who don't really study the history and everything like this, they don't know. But what came into vogue over a time was to change that Das Avatar and to put Hayagriva, and then thus make it more compatible, more digestible for that community of Vaishnavas. The second thing he noted was that, he said, you are Śuddha-śaktas. Śuddha-śaktas. What does that mean?
Shuddha means pure Shaktis.
Yeah, we worship the purest Shakti also. So we're not the Shaktas. Shaktas worship so many different, whatever the Shakti may be. But in the olden times, it would be more like Durga. Or, who else? Kali. Those are called Shaktas. But a Śuddha-śakta is a worshipper of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. So, Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is more than just the consort of Krishna. She is described as the consort of Krishna. That means the companion, what are meanings of consorts? The partner of Krishna. Consort. Look it up in the dictionary. The consort of Krishna. But actually, so many even demigods have consorts. Who's the consort of Brahma? Saraswati. How many consorts? Everybody, maybe except maybe. Does Ganesh have a consort? Is he still brahmachari?
Yes. Well, some say he's a brahmachari. Some say he has two consorts, Riddhi and Siddhi. I don't know.
Modern brahmachari.
Yeah.
I should make a joke about that. But so Radharani is more than just a consort, and she's more than just a Shakti. Lakshmi is a Shakti, also consort of Lord Vishnu. So sometimes we say Radharani is ādi-śakti, just as Krishna is ādi-bhagavan. So Radharani is ādi-śakti. Ādi-bhagavan means whichever incarnations you will find. There are, how many? 12 principal ones. Another 25 are mentioned in a list of Vaikuntha planets. And beyond that, they're infinite. They're like the waves on the ocean. They just keep coming and coming. And how long has that been going on? For a long time. More than time, beyond time, before time. It's been going on a long time. Avatars, since forever. There have been avatars, appearances. And many of them have their consorts. And Krishna is the source of all of them. He's the source of Raha, he's the source of the Matsya. All the avatars. Krishna is called Avatari, means source. The others are avatars, but Krishna is the source of avatars, Avatari. And Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is the ādi-śakti, just like Krishna is ādi-bhagavan. Understand? Mm-hmm. So Radharani is the ādi-śakti, the source of all the Shaktis. So People understand Shakti in different ways, but the way we understand is most important, because what's Shakti? What's Shakti? Oh, if we're getting ready to go to war, should we worship Radharani and get Shakti? You know, now better call on Hanuman or bring back Arjuna, but I don't know, Radharani on the battlefield, not very much Shakti there. That's not the type of Shakti. If we want Jnana Shakti, you know. Also, Radharani is not Jnana Shakti. Maybe someone could say, maybe possibly, a part of the Bhakti Gyan may have some touch with Radharani, some Bandha Bhakti Gyan, etc. And that's all right. But she is not just Jnana Shakti. So which Shakti is? Radharani. She is Bhakti Shakti. She is the energy of devotion. If there was no Radharani, there wouldn't be devotion to anything. Understand? There wouldn't be devotion to your family, to your job, to your country, to another person, to your guru. Nothing. If there was no Radharani, there would be no devotion to anything. Understand? Just like, what if there was no Krishna? Well, we wouldn't have to worry about, because none of us would exist either. So if Krishna doesn't exist, you don't exist either, because you're part and parcel of Krishna, like the hand is connected to the whole. The jivas are serving parts of Krishna to serve the whole. So Krishna, I said this to a Christian once, he said, Krishna is not God. I said, well, that's funny, because if Krishna isn't God, there is no God. If Krishna isn't God, there is no God. I mean, what did so many of these other gods do? They created the world, that's it. God the creator, that's it. And only one world, by the way, in that story. Whereas in Krishna, the creator, millions, billions, an infinite number of universes he is creating and destroying and maintaining at every minute. It isn't just as creation, it's all created at once, and everything's gone at once. Creation is going on, destruction is going on, it's like breathing, in and out. It's just in the process. The last bit of air in, the first bit of air out. Universes are being created, they last different lengths of time, all these types of things are there. So remember this point, if there was no Radharani, there would be devotion to nothing. If there was no Radha and Krishna experiencing pleasure, there would be no pleasure in anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing in this world would have any pleasure. Everything comes from somewhere except the misery. All the good things of this world find their origin in the spiritual world. The bad things of this world, they're just the things of this world. We made a wrong choice sometime way back. So that's, you try to recall this point, a very strong point. There would be no devotion. So Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is Bhakti Devi. She is the mother of devotion. She is the storehouse of devotion. And all devotion is her domain. All service, which is the, how would you define service? Is the practical expression of devotion. There are circumstances where sometimes a devotee cannot perform any service and actually carry out his devotion. It's called nirjana-bhajana. Such a person, let us take someone like Jagannath Dāsa Babaji, for example. His movements were less, and what of them there were, they were difficult to understand. So someone may see some personality like Jagannath in their senior years, advanced years, they're doing nirjana-bhajana, not going very well, not going very many places, not doing very many things. Sometimes even just bowing the head, then bowing all the way down because the back is now broken or whatever the case may be. Oh no, I forgot the point there.
Nirjana-bhajana.
Yes. So a neophyte might say, Well, he just sits around and chants all day, you know. We're the real bhaktas. We're pulling the stumps and planting the seeds and tilling the fields and painting the walls. We're the real bhaktas. The old man over there just sitting there with his bees not doing anything. So if we are speaking about Jagannath Dāsa Goswāmī, then we would say, oh, a very big misunderstanding. In the stage of nirjana-bhajana, the physical activities of service may be diminished, but the internal activities of devotion on the internal plane, you can also tag that as a higher plane, in a more meaningful, sweeter, relishable service to Krishna. I mean, you have to think about it. I mean, how much pleasure does he get out of us burning out stumps and pulling out weeds? I mean, even if we made this garden perfect, I mean, how much real pleasure does that give Krishna? What gives Krishna the pleasure is seeing us sweating, doing it, us working hard to please him. Even as neophytes, he'll be pleased to see that. But the higher devotees don't have to do something physical, let's say, in order to please Krishna. They're doing their service on a platform that they have achieved, which is much, much sweeter to Krishna. It is more substantial, but it's completely out of reach for those who are not there. You know, the saying, you don't know because you weren't there, it's like you don't know because you're not qualified. That's the way it means. So, but we should understand that these planes exist and that we should not expect to see from, or even in our state, the same service from our senior members, broken backs, broken knees, broken hearts. You know. Of course, then we don't claim that our only service is eating prasadam either. You know, and providing dirty laundry to be washed by others. Old is not the qualification for nirjana-bhajana. Simply growing old, simply becoming infirm. That is not the qualification. So, Radharāṇī is actually the most important personality in the spiritual sense for us. And this narration here, Śrīdhara Mahārāja is talking about, is he saying Diwan? He's saying the Raja himself or some high, who is the Diwan?
The Prime Minister.
Like the Prime Minister. So just for your information, the Bharatpur kings, not just one, but many of them over time, for example, they built the temple and the facility at Keshigat in Vrindavan. That is owned by the Bharatpur, or used to be owned by the Bharatpur, king of Bharatpur. Kusam Sarovara was built by the king of Bharatpur after a war, after some battle with the some fraction of the Muslim armies or something like that back in the day. That was built as like a victory. I don't know what you call that, just an offering. You see, well, in this case, he did pray for Radharāṇī's mercy, and he beat the Muslims in battle, and then he built this fabulous kund called Kusam Sarovara, which was a natural lake already, and a place of pastimes. But really, I don't know if, and I would probably cast my vote to say, that's your war. Radharāṇī had nothing to do with that. But pious kings in the past, in that area, that's not far from Braj. So they were known to show a great devotion to Krishna in many ways, and to Radharāṇī. And on this day, they're doing Dandavat Parakram of Radhakram. Now, in those days, it was very, very different, I would probably say. It didn't have the paved Parakram trail. It didn't have that. It didn't have all the buildings that you see there, especially on the outside. It was a much smaller village, and only on certain days would it really pack out with people, Kartik. And in those days, all villagers. You couldn't find a Delhiite in there to save your life. In Kartik, you go somewhere and find people from Delhi. People from Delhi 30, 40 years ago had forgotten where Vrindavan was. And the next generation, they never heard of it. There were people in Agra didn't know where Vrindavan was. That's how. And then you look at the buildings and you look at the pictures in time and wonder, how did this amazing place deteriorate and just fall into rubble? And still palaces just plummeting into the mud. How is that possible? Because at a time, everybody was gone. There were several things. There were wars, and the last kick was Indian independence. And that was the last. And after that, it was totally neglected. Absolutely, totally neglected. You look at the picture of the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh sitting on a rug like this with Prabhupada and all these people, and some Gauḍīya people. Bon Maharaj was there, Gorchand Goswāmī. You look at that picture and you try to get chief minister of anybody to come and just sit on a gada underneath a tree in Vrindavan, Radhastami, our temple back then when the courtyard was made of mud, and have a program. Krishna Balaram was mentioning that to me. That if you want to bring chief minister to Vrindavan now, you have to spend lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Security, all kind of things. You have to block roads. You have to, make sure the electric doesn't get all this stuff. But 45 or 1960? No, that was 60. 1960 something. Chief minister of Uttar Pradesh came to the temple, sat down like a humble soul, like a Vaishnava, and hearing Hari Katha and everything like that. Never happened. So it was greatly neglected. But many people had come to Vrindavan, and they had built temples. Even get this, even there's a temple in Vrindavan built by the king of Burma. It's near. You can see it from Parmadwaiti's Brindakunj. You can see it. And it was a Radha Krishna temple built by the king of Burma. Now I wonder how that could have happened. Well, first word is king. You're a king of Burma. You don't know any other kings. You live in a world of kings. And India's got over 540 kings. And there are kings all over the world at that time. All over the world. Back in the early 1800s, 1700s, there were kings. Before this modern chaos called freedom and democracy came around, which assures us the lowest class of leadership always, unless it accidentally gets a little better. Democracy, demon crazy. It is simply a word that has no meaning. Your vote matters nothing. Your bun matters nothing. The world is way controlled, way past burning tires to get around it. You understand? The people in India are still sleeping like a baby in terms of what's going on in the world. It's already over. And they're thinking that burning tires is going to do anything. They should be marching on and putting papers and going legal system and change the law. The water is gone to Kerala. The air is polluted, the tires are burned, the road is destroyed, and innocent people are beaten almost to death. Did that stop the water? This is a system to go against your government when the government is a foreign government like the British. And Gandhi introduced non-cooperation fund, and that was, that really hurt the British. So when you burn a bus today, whose bus is that? That's your bus. When you burn the asphalt off the tire and you got all these holes in it, whose road is that? That's your road. The British left here a long time ago. That system brings about nothing. Absolutely nothing. Want to fight the system? Get your lawyers, put your money there, money and lawyers, and change the law. No. The same people who are burning, doing all this, they'll be drinking chai and going to movies by the weekend. And this little action going on, there's a big embarrassment, big inconvenience, and it does nothing. Do you think they care? Really? They don't go to office, they get paid day with holiday. Your shop is closed, you don't get any money at all. You understand? Block 1 road. The road that leads to IT City in Bangalore. The jugular vein. No, spoiling every rickshawala from making his money today and yesterday. Right? IT's that sitting at home with pay, everything. You block those guys for 30 days, there'll be some action. Because corporations all over the world won't be getting their product. There'll be some action. There'll be somebody calling up Modi. But this type of action that you see out here does nothing. Does nothing. Anyway, let's get back to the topic of today.
Are you talking about the king of Burma?
Yeah, he had built a temple there, a Radha Krishna temple. So everybody had come to Vrindavan. But it is for this reason, Bhaktisiddhanta says, yes, they have great respect for Krishna. They believe in God. They believe in Bhagavan. And they believe in Krishna. But that right there, it would even begin to break down which way and how high there is belief in Krishna. Prabhupada used to say, scratch them and they're all Mayavadis underneath. They're only Vaishnav gold-plated. You keep scratching, yes, Swami, we are also the Krishna. What kind of Vaishnava is that? We are also the Krishna at the end of the day. No, we are never the Krishna. We are the serving parts of Krishna. Eternal servants of Krishna. So, they have great respect for Krishna in different levels. And they have heard that Krishna is dearmost. He's Radharāṇī, his consort. Just like, why do you like Garuda rather than Jatayu? You know who Jatayu is? He was a vulture, right? Yeah. A buzzard. Well, that might be part of the reason. But Garuda is the Vimana of Lord Vishnu, and even sometimes Vasudeva Krishna. In Vrindavan, Krishna doesn't ride Garuda, I don't think. Although Garuda has some connection there in the pastime of Kali and maybe some others. But yeah. All right, so therefore they show respect to Radharāṇī. Did you understand that? But our position is very different. But we don't preach that position. This is for you to understand, for the devotees. The devotees, devotion falls in the category of the domain of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. She is the mother of devotion. She is Bhakti Devi. She is Śraddha Devi. Also the energy. What you need to serve Krishna is called Śraddha. It isn't money. It isn't so many other things that may be useful and helpful. But the key thing, if you don't have money, can you serve Krishna? Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Give me water. All right, there's water running to Tamil Nadu. You can offer to Krishna. And when it's all gone, there'll still be some. Right? But if you live in an apartment building somewhere in Bangalore, there may be water shortages. But here in Govindaji Gardens, there's no water shortage. That's why we're here. Because I know that in future, people will kill each other over water. And who goes to live far in a big city and up on the 23rd floor? Oh my goodness. That can be a problem. It will be a problem. It is a problem. So, huh? Yes. Without that, you cannot serve Krishna. Faith, Shraddha. It isn't just a belief, although sometimes it says the belief that serving Krishna, automatically everything else is served. That's a viable explanation, but sometimes we can get lost. What do you mean belief? What do you mean belief? Where does belief come from? Belief comes from the mind, analyzing, accepting, and rejecting things, usually based on knowledge or experience or whatnot. But Shraddha transcends even that. Shraddha is a belief that doesn't get born in the mind, although the mind is usually drug along at the same time and happily accepted. It's in the heart, we say the heart, because we feel heart pain if somebody hurts us in some way, embarrasses us, shames us, something happens to us. We actually feel pain, isn't it? Do you ever feel pain due to that? The pain of heartbreak, the pain of love. This thing right there completely takes all the Darwin idea of thinking and the scientific explanation of knowledge and just throws it away. What was the necessity of love? Where did that come from? In evolution, boom, Big Bang, right? At any point, what was the point? Well, where did love come from? Matter became alive, didn't have any eyes, didn't have any concept. All the subtle things, beauty, you don't get them from a Big Bang. You want to see what the world looks like after a Big Bang? Go look at that tree stump down there. That's what it looks like after a Big Bang. Burned out, nuked. Life doesn't come out of Big Bang. That's where everybody dies. Fire at the end of the universe. Lord Shiva, the din din drum. There's big fire consuming the world. They got it backwards. The fire comes at the end. But we see fire as part of it. So it is not possible to serve Krishna. It is not possible to serve Lord Narayan. It's not possible to serve the demigods. It's not possible to serve your family, your country, or even to be devoted to yourself without Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. But at a point, it's the flip side. That devotion to yourself, which so many people have, you know, politicians, movie stars, they have great opinions of themselves. They're all about themselves. We say in English, full of themselves. Full of something else too, but full of themselves. That type of devotion is a Maya Shakti. And that type of devotion comes from Kali and Durga. Their realm is only matter. But Durga herself is an avatar of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. All the deities, including Durga. And it is for this reason, like in South India, you have Sri Vaishnavas and you have Shaivites. A lot of times, especially in the old days, in places, Sri Vaishnava going on the road, there's one Shiva temple here, and he looks this way. He won't look. Shaivite, Vaishnava, the Shaktas, like from Bengal. So Mahaprabhu went to the Kanyakumari temple. A lot of people might say, oh, because he was Bengali. It's a Durga temple. But what did he see? Mahaprabhu travels through South India with the extreme, perfect spiritual vision. How does he see everything? Every river he saw, he thought it was the Jamuna. Not just once or twice. It's mentioned once or twice, but it's also mentioned every river he saw. Every forest he saw, he thought it was Vrindavan. So, what impelled him to go into the temple in Kanyakumari? What was he seeing there? What did he go there to take darshan of? What was his concept? When you can take Durga Prasad, some kinds of Durga Prasad, like rock candy, not mutton. But you can remember how that comes, and you can also take that. So Mahaprabhu, he's going to have darshan at the Kanyakumari, but he's seeing the Devi in Kanyakumari as a manifestation in this world of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. However, that is to be respected. That is not where service is offered to Radharāṇī. That is not understanding. That is like saying going to jail is the same thing as going to the university. Yes, they're both parts of the government, but they're very different. One will imprison you and put her trident right to your throat, the three modes of material nature, and pin the rebellious and uncooperative living entities to the cycle of birth and death. That's what Durga does. You know the picture? You have Durga, and she's on the tiger, and there's one guy down below. Prabhupada used to say, that's a Durga Bhakta. That's what you get. She cannot give mukti. Where? Anywhere. No one has invented that one yet. Even Lord Shiva says, only Mukunda, only Vishnu, only Krishna is the deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Only Vishnu Tattva can give mukti. Not Shakti, not that Shakti Tattva. Not those things. No mukti involved there. They give, oh, ma. That's what she does. She's riding on a tiger. Like someone recently, we were going to gift them a shaligram, a friend. And it happened to be a Narasingha shaligram, and it happened to be a Lakshmi Narasingha shaligram. So he was very happy with that. And he asked me, is it Ugra? And I wrote and I said, no, it's not Ugra. I said, that's a fashion in ISKCON. They want to worship Ugra in the Sringa. Ugra in the Sringa. If you saw Ugra in the Sringa, after shitting yourself, you would die. Of fright. I mean, who do these people think? Oh yeah, man, it's really cool to worship Ugra in the Sringa. What? You have no, they're just dreaming. Neither is it the most beneficial either. If you wanted to, well, why do you worship? Well, at that point, even amongst the demigods, I think Narada and a few people were around. They didn't go forward. They put a child forward. They put a child devotee forward so that the Lord will be calm and be merciful. So now they want to think they're putting themselves up to the level of Prahlad. The Lord will just be so calm upon seeing them when they open the doors. Right? So I said, no, we're not giving you Ugra Nishinga, and neither is it desirable. I said, talk later. He's in Vrindavan. Yeah. But that's everything. Krishna consciousness is not a fashion. Oh, I withdraw. Krishna consciousness is not supposed to be a fashion. But it has become much of a fashion, or in parts fashion. Like I'm very happy I look around here and I don't see Jagannath and Ugra Nisringa t-shirts and all this stuff. But there are some other places you go and everybody looks like they're going out to watch their favorite cricket team wearing the team shirts, you know. And then everything along with the socks and the knickers, you know, and the dirty napkins from the kitchen and whatever goes in the washing machine. And then Jagannath eats. Then he gets hung out on the clothesline in the sun. Well, you sit in your air-conditioned office and drink nimble pani, right? And then when it's done, Mom lays it on a board, takes the 200-degree hot iron, and irons Krishna, no less. Irons him so that you look cool when you go to Mumbai. This is going on. In such ways, you would, after being here and going to some other places, you will just like hold your head like, oh God, are you kidding me? Really bad, really bad. It almost looks like the Vaishnava world is being swept away like the hyacinths here in the flood. With all kinds of things that matter nothing, that matter for nothing. In fact, they may be detrimental. So, this word is there, didn't existed, but it didn't exist to the ears of the general Hare Krishna movement in the West at all. And that word was Radhastami, the service of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. So that is a very, you can say, a very high subject matter. It is also, it is in the Prayojana. It is the ultimate Prayojana in Gauḍīya Vaishnavism. But it cannot be achieved by an artificial meditation or just because I want to be, I want this, I want that, do that. No, there is a secret to getting that service. And those who try for that service just in the line of Krishna, Radha, Vrindavan, are out of luck. They don't get it. Not 1 in 10,000. Here is the secret. How you will get the service of Srimati Radharani. Listen closely. Very please you. And then that's all for today, unless there are questions. read that whole section there where the verse appears until it starts into their title.
Therefore, we should invest all our energy in the service of Sri Gauranga.
That's it. If you want the service of Radha, you've heard about the prayojana, the ultimate. Krishna himself is obedient to Radharani. If we gain her service, if we gain her mercy, then everything is achieved with that. Everything. And to achieve that, just give all your attention, all your focus, everything to Lord Gauranga. Now read what he said.
Then we will automatically find ourselves being lifted towards the highest level. Prabodhananda Saraswati prays, Yatayata Gaura Padara Vinde, Vindeta Bhaktim Krita Punya Rashihi, Tatata Tot Sarpati Hridya Kasmad, Radha Padamboja Sudhambo Rashihi. As much as we devote ourselves to the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga, we will automatically achieve the nectarine service of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī in Vrindavan. An investment in Navadip Dham will automatically take one to Vrindavan. How one is being carried there will be unknown to him, but those who have good fortune invest everything in the service of Sri Gauranga. If they do that, they will find that everything has automatically been offered to the divine feet of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. She will accept them in her confidential service and give them some engagement saying, "Oh, you have a good recommendation from Navadvip. I immediately appoint you to this service." Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is introduced in the form of Gauranga with the added element of magnanimity. No selfish sensualism can enter our consideration at the pastimes of Sri Gauranga, for there he appears as a sannyasi and a devotee. Of course, if we are to analyze Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we shall find Krishna in the garb of Radharani. According to the impersonal philosophers, when negative and positive combine, they become non-differentiated oneness. But Vaishnava philosophy says that when both positive and negative aspects of Godhead are combined, personality is not lost. Rather, in the garb of the negative, the positive is converted and begins searching for himself in the mood of the highest searcher. According to Vaishnavism, when positive and negative combine, they do not create equilibrium. Rather, their dynamic character is always maintained.
In other words, you're saying if you have +1 minus 1 equals 0. That's what the Mayavadi is saying. Equals 0. But we say, no, it's a dynamic. That union produces a dynamic personality that it actually, in terms of magnanimity, exceeds the other two once combined. It doesn't become nothing. It becomes, what is the word? What is the word for that? Vadanyaya? It means
Vadanya. Magnanimity.
Vadanya.
Yeah.
Okay, Vadanya. Magnanimity is produced and in much greater excess than is there in Radha and Krishna Lila. Much qualification is there. Lord Gauranga is prepared to overlook many of the disqualifications which we have in Kali Yuga, provided we're willing to accept his mercy, and that means his instruction, the process of the holy name, etc. Here's another good question for you. What's the last word in the absolute truth? And verify your statement. What is the last word in the absolute truth? Mother dear Lalita, Bhagavad preacher.
Last word.
Last word. It's a whole book.
That's a big word.
Om.
Huh?
Om.
That's the first. What's the first word in the absolute truth? It's 2 words, but you're getting close. When the Maha Mantra is the absolute truth, the first word is Hare, which is Radharani, and the last word is Hare. So both the beginning, and now look at the mantra. It's not a game. It's like, it's a simple thing we can do even as, we don't have to be the most exalted souls that ever come to the planet. Just take a look at the thing. This is the Maha Mantra. This is absolute truth in sound. First word is Hare, which means Radharāṇī, and the last word is Hare. So the first and last word in the absolute is Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. Now someone may say, well, are we not finished talking now? Which means all service to Krishna, and everything I said before this comes into play, and that's why there is no service to Krishna without the grace of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, and there is no perfection or completion of that service without the grace of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. So Prabhupada, there was a couple of recorded lectures. I wanted to say this, I keep forgetting this. We should get those lectures, now they're digitally available, all that. I remember years ago I had boxes of tapes of Srila Prabhupada. And I remember at one point, Garuda worked for over 2 years in the kitchen. And anytime I went near the kitchen, I'm hearing the lecture of Prabhupada. I gave him 150 or 200 tapes, I think. And he just had a tape recorder. But now, you got key drives, you got little buds in your ears, you got pockets and tape recorders, telephones, you got all this stuff. But I walk by there and all I hear is pots, bang, clang, And how many devotees, actually in the time of myself and Vishnu Maharaj and Jayadev, classes with 100 devotees, you had to have 15 people in the kitchen cooking for those 100 people every day. And that was every day. And some temples had up to 350 devotees living in the temple, not in the, in the neighborhood around and coming to Mangal Artik every day and stuff like that. So that devotees would not miss the Harikatha, the classes. Now there's a little bit of difference between a Harikatha and a class. A class is you have something to learn, point A, point B, point C. Learn something, even take notes. Harikatha is not the same thing. Harikatha is just hearing about Krishna, not learning, but just relishing, hearing. And it's said that Harikatha is one of the, what is that list? To live in Mathura, Vaishnava Association, discuss the Bhagavatam, Harikatha.
5 things.
Yeah. But, right. Yeah, right, there's 5 things. 5 things Mahaprabhu did. Mathura Vas, live in a holy place, like an ashram or a temple, or the Mathura Mandala itself, or Mayapur, Navadvip, a holy place. A Kshetram. Okay. That's one principle. Then Bhagavad
Seva.
It's Katha.
Yeah.
Right. But that means 10th canto. It means about Krishna. It doesn't mean that everything else is heard. But what is to be relished is not Kadamba Muni and his wife flying around the universe enjoying life and all. This is getting to a level of the Ashraya Tattva, who is Krishna. When it says there are 5 things that are important, and it mentions Bhagavatam, it means 10th canto. That is the purport of the Acharya. It means 10th canto. So by the time we're at 10th canto, we're not learning. We're not hearing to learn something. You're hearing to simply relish something. This is the Lord of your heart. This is the God you have worshipped for years. This is the Lord you have affectionately offered things to with the hope that you might have the experience of awakening real love for that Lord. Understand? It is not a learning class. Like the 3 modes of material nature, there are 12 avatars, There's a certain learning thing. Understand? That's sambandha. Then the practical plane is how to serve. Now you understand, now serve. But the prayojana is not a learning platform. It's a relishing platform, and it's a also sacrificing platform like you've never sacrificed before. Your very self, your very soul surrenders to Krishna. It's easy to give money, at least some of it. Time, at least some of it. But your very self we hold on to that. I don't want to let go of myself. No, we must let go of the self also and surrender the self to Krishna. In the I don't see one, but in the stick, the staff, the danda of the Gaudiya Vaishnava sannyasis, it's called a tree danda, 3 sticks, but actually there are 4 sticks inside, not 3, 4. There are 4 sticks inside, and the first one is body. Next stick, mind. Next stick, words. We surrender these things, body, mind, and words. Body, mind is going on the inside, and words we can produce from this body. These 3 things we can offer, surrender to Krishna, body, mind, and words. But we're not this body, and therefore we're not the product of this body, even the words. We're not the mind. Mind is also one of the material energies. And therefore we surrender these things. We, who is the we? So Vishnu Swami, who was a very famous Vaishnava, way long time, I think, before Ramanuja, he added the 4th stick, and it's called the Jiva Danda. And it represents the Atma, the soul, your very self. Don't forget to surrender yourself. Not just your money, not just your minds, not just your words, but your very self. What was the last? I said, Prabhupada had said, so on this day, Srila Prabhupada there was only a couple recorded lessons. We should get more of those for devotees to hear. But this would have been a good day to have that available, and you have the time, you hear what Prabhupada says on that day. He does not try to go to some very high level. Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, the mother of devotion, we're pleasing and serving Krishna by her grace. He says a few things. He said, this is a good day, to remember Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī and pray for her grace in serving Krishna. Got it? Yeah. Okay? Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī ki jai, Thakurani ki jai,
Maharaja ki jai.
Time over? Early lunch? Are there any questions? No questions? I got plenty of japa to do. I wasn't feeling well this morning.
More question. Srimad Bhagavatam, sometimes the Acharyas say that Bhagavatam is Radha Bhagavat, but we only find one very indirect mention of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī in the Bhagavatam.
Yes, so one is one way and the other is the other. One is externally, if you look and say, why, what do you mean? Why do you say? I do not see. So Radharani is technically not mentioned in the Bhagavatam, but it's inferred that there is someone in this group, in the Rasa Leela, that is superior to all the others. But her name isn't mentioned. And the reason her name isn't mentioned is for a similar reason why on many days, if this rest of this room was filled with the people that were here for John Mastami, then we would hear something even more reserved than today, than now. Because there are people there who, they don't have that plane of commitment, devotion, dedication. They don't have the sambandha. They don't have the background to understand that Radharani is the source of all devis everywhere, including all the women that live in the world today. Where did this idea say? The Christians say God created us in His image. Right? That's what the Bible says. God created man in His image. Well, what did He do to dream up a woman? I mean, it's just like God said, oh yeah, right, women, I gotta think. What's a woman?
Pull that river.
And the way the Christians explain it, it's totally ridiculous. Right? So in whose image is a woman? That is in Radharani's image, in the feminine. God is not just a man, a masculine. He's both masculine and feminine in one. Where did these things come from? Who is he? Who is she? Who are we? Where do we come from? It's not a big bang, and we evolved from apes. And even then, where did male and female come out of the big bang? It's like, where did this come from? And in whose image are women created? The Bible doesn't answer that. If you want any seriously answered questions, you have to come to Krishna consciousness. You can forget about Christianity. It doesn't solve anything or answer anything. And those are exactly Śrīdhara Mahārāja's words when he met with Ban Maharaj. Ban Maharaj means Ban Maharaj from Italy, who's a disciple of Śrīdhara Mahārāja. He was a priest in something, I forget the detail of it, studying to be a priest, partially in a priest. He was a priest, really into. And somehow this is a long story, his own story, and he arrived in Vrindavan yesterday, by the way. And long story how he comes to Śrīdhara Mahārāja, and he's in various questions, and after some time Śrīdhara Mahārāja said, now that you've come to Mahaprabhu, just forget this Christian stuff. It's a waste of time. Nothing there. Absolutely nothing. Nothing means nothing. Zero. So, Radharāṇī was not mentioned there because there were people there in that great Namisaranya forest who were of all different types of rishis and all these things. Like one day, long time ago, we were here, and one devotee who was staying here for a while, he went out for a program. He went to a Ramakrishna mission. It ended up being on this day. No, it was Shivaratri. And he went to some program in a village, but it was actually the Ramakrishna, but just at a village level. And he came back. I said, how's the program? He goes, well, it ended up being, it was actually mostly the Ramakrishna mission in that locale, organized it in the local. He said, so I gave a lecture about Gopeshwar Mahadev. And I said, what? Gopeshwar Mahadev is the protector of the Rasa Leela. The Lord Shiva wants to enter the Rasa Leela, but he doesn't get a position there. But he's given the opportunity to guard the entrance way, to make sure no unwanted demons or anybody. I mean, Krishna can handle it all himself, but he's just letting Lord Shiva do that. Gopeshwar Mahadev. And for that, he gets the form of a gopi. But he doesn't have the adhikari to actually dance with Krishna. But he almost gets there. The Lord Shiva becomes Gopeshwar. And I said, never, ever speak about these things outside the most immediate circle of devotees inside this ashram. When you go out that gate, and I was going to put a sign on the gate that when you leave it, you see it. Preach Bhagavad Gita. That's it. Leave everything else behind. Don't talk about Bhagavatam. Don't talk about Chaitanya Charitamrita. You want to preach to the world? What did Krishna do? When he went out, what did he preach? Oh, I have my Leela in Vrindavan. I'm sure you would like to people would like to hear about that. No. He went out on his chariot with Arjuna, and he preached Bhagavad Gita for the benefit of the world. Not this other stuff. Now these groups roam around, they want to do Leela Kata, everywhere. Boston, Chicago, LA. They got people who don't even know what it means to be human. Come on and sit down and hear Leela Kata. Bhagavad Gita. Maharaj messaged me from Vaihutla yesterday. Anything I can do for you while I'm here? I said, yeah. Preach Bhagavad Gita to the devotees and encourage the devotees in Mexico to study our books. Vaihutla. You never see a book open in Vaihutla. Wallets open? Very generous. I haven't seen the books open in Vaihutla. Vaihutla, if you're watching, read the books. Yeah. The Querétaro? No, they study almost daily. So I said that, preach that. Don't preach about this, preach Bhagavad Gita. Now, I don't know if you know what that means. That means quote a sloka, read the purport, and give a summary explanation. An added to explanation. That's what it means, preach Bhagavad Gita. When Krishna consciousness is there, so many things get adjusted automatically in society, and friendship, and love, and the whole picture begins to take on a workable ambience. Leaving out Krishna consciousness, let's just be friends, let's just be lovers. You know how many lovers kill each other in this world? A lot. Oh my God, you'd be surprised. Or lovers that get killed by somebody else. Love is a very dangerous thing. You can lose your life in this world. It's all right, I'm tired. Can I stop or drop? Go, Premanandi. You know that story? I'll tell you briefly. Śrīdhara Mahārāja, he just spoke for a couple hours, and then he said, here I stop. And everybody just sat there. There was about half this many people, only. He was just sitting on his cot, day bed, on his veranda. So he continued to speak. After a few minutes, here I stop. Everybody just sat, looking. Again, he continued a few minutes, and he said, here I drop. Now there's a video of this. I don't know if you got it. He falls over on the pillow, and everybody just gets closer, and the microphone just gets closer. He drop, no, stop, drop. Coming around. So he's just laying down, microphone continuing his talk. Sa Mahatma Sadurlabha. Souls of Śrīdhara Mahārāja's caliber, everything about, they're rare. Even among saints, they're rare. Such a quality of devotee. Such a quality. Very rare. We should not try to imitate. The success is not in imitating, it's in glorifying. It's like there's so many people now, they read Śrīdhara Mahārāja's books, but they're afraid to speak. They're afraid to go, wow, this is amazing. You gotta read this, you gotta understand this, the line of service to Radha, how to get there, all these things. He's not existing in all these other places. They exist in one place, in the English language, in Śrīdhara Mahārāja's books. He opened the door to the secrets, the inner chambers of the palace of Krishna consciousness. But people they want to read it, but they are afraid to glorify it. And therefore, before they can close the book, what they were reading about went back in the book. It doesn't enter the heart. Doesn't enter the heart unless you glorify that. Understand? You can't steal it. Use it for your own purpose. Oh, so many people are doing that. They take anybody's book and construct something and then give some seminar, some class, and people go, wow. But that's all they're doing is stealing from different acharyas and everything. But because they are afraid by their own construct, they're afraid to glorify and give proper recognition to that source of knowledge, that source of bhakti jnana, that source of great inspiration, explanation. So many things come in the words of Śrīdhara Mahārāja, but they are afraid to recognize and glorify. And therefore, as the book is closing, that very same thing they read just slips back in the book and it goes shut. And they don't realize it. They go, oh, I read Śrīdhara Mahārāja. And why are you still a fool? I did that without mentioning names, institutions, etc. But I think you know to whom I refer. And down here, somebody sends me an email, or somebody the other day, oh, can we go here for association? Can we go there for association? You can go wherever you want for association. The sign says, do not enter. It doesn't say, do not leave. The sign on the gate says, do not enter. I say to Giri, build the wall higher, keep people out, so that the people inside can cultivate what they come here for. If you allow too many of the wrong people to come, everything's ruined. Everything is ruined. All right, let's close here. It's an hour. No, when's the offerings? There's service to do. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Guru Maharaj.
Hare Hare.